The Royal Fugitive. The transport shuttle shuddered as it entered the asteroid field surrounding Helios 7. Princess Zara of the Korthan Empire gripped the armrest with her four-fingered hands, her silver skin gleaming under the dim cabin lights. She had traded her ceremonial robes for a simple gray jumpsuit, cut her luminescent hair short, and removed every piece of jewelry that marked her royal status. But she couldn't change her eyes, those distinctive violet eyes that every Korthan in the galaxy would recognize. The mining colony came into view, a collection of pressurized domes clinging to the surface of a massive asteroid. It was ugly, industrial, and perfect. No Korthan noble would ever think to look for her here, among humans and their chaotic way of life. The shuttle docked with a metallic clang that made Zara flinch. She grabbed her single bag and stepped into the arrival bay. The air smelled of machine oil and recycled oxygen. Workers moved past her without a second glance, too busy with their own concerns to notice another alien face. Humans had that quality. They were so used to diversity that one more strange visitor barely registered. Zara made her way through the colony's main corridor, searching for the industrial sector. Her plan was simple: find work, stay invisible, and never return to Korthan space. She had studied human customs during the 3-week journey, learning their languages and social patterns. They valued hard work and skill over bloodlines and titles. It was everything her empire was not. The repair shop stood at the end of a dingy corridor marked Section 7B. A flickering sign read, "Morrison's Mechanics, we fix what others can't." Through the grease-stained window, Zara could see a human man bent over a disassembled engine, his arms blackened with oil up to his elbows. She pushed open the door. A bell chimed, but the man didn't look up. "We're not hiring," he said, his voice rough as grinding metal. "I didn't ask if you were hiring," Zara replied, stepping closer. "I'm asking for work." The man finally straightened, wiping his hands on an already filthy rag. He was tall for a human, with brown hair touched with gray at the temples and eyes that had seen too many disappointments. His face carried the weathered look of someone who had worked with machinery his entire life. "Name's Jake Morrison," he said, looking her up and down. "And I meant what I said. Can't afford another worker." "I don't need much," Zara said carefully. "Just enough for food and a place to sleep." "I'm good with engines, all kinds," Jake snorted. "You're Korthan, right? Those fancy folks from the core systems? What's someone like you doing in a place like this?" "That's my business." "Fair enough." Jake turned back to his engine. "But I've seen plenty of aliens who think they know machinery. Usually they just get in the way. This isn't some clean factory floor. It's real work, dirty work." Zara set down her bag and walked over to the workbench. She scanned the partially disassembled engine with her trained eye, immediately identifying the problem Jake was struggling with. "Your plasma coupling is misaligned. That's why your compression ratios are failing. You're trying to force compatibility between a Terran power core and a Vexian cooling system, but the frequency harmonics don't match." Jake's head snapped up. "How did you—" "The oscillation pattern," Zara continued, pointing to the diagnostic screen. "See those microfluctuations? That's energy bleed from incompatible systems. You need a frequency buffer, something to translate between the two technologies." For the first time, Jake looked at her with something other than dismissal. "You really know your stuff." "I've been working with engines since I was young," Zara said, which was true. What she didn't mention was that her tutors had been the finest engineers in the Korthan Empire, and she had access to technological knowledge most beings would never see. Jake studied her for a long moment. "All right, Korthan. You fix this engine, you've got yourself a job. Trial period 1 week. But I'm warning you, this is hard work, long hours, and I don't tolerate mistakes." "Understood." Zara removed her jacket and rolled up her sleeves. She spent the next 4 hours working on the engine, while Jake watched with increasing amazement. Her hands moved with precision and confidence, adapting human tools to Korthan techniques. She fabricated a makeshift frequency buffer from spare parts, recalibrated the plasma coupling, and synchronized the two incompatible systems into a functioning whole. When she powered up the engine, it hummed to life with smooth perfection. Jake let out a low whistle. "I'll be damned. That's been sitting broken for 2 months." "It's fixed now," Zara said simply, trying to hide her satisfaction. "What's your name?" Jake asked. Zara hesitated. She couldn't use her real name, it was too distinctive, too royal. "Z," she said finally. Just call me Z. All right, Z. Welcome to Morrison's Mechanics. Jake extended his hand in the human gesture of agreement. Zara grasped it, feeling the rough calluses of his palm. This human's hands told the story of a lifetime spent building and repairing, creating something useful with physical labor. It was so different from the soft, decorative hands of Corthan nobility. Thank you, she said quietly. As she gathered her belongings to find sleeping quarters, Zara allowed herself a moment of relief. She had escaped the grand palace of Corthan Prime, fled from General Krath and the arranged marriage that would have turned her into a political tool. Here, in this grimy repair shop on a forgotten asteroid, she could finally be something other than a princess. She could be herself. But in the depths of space, Corthan search vessels were already spreading across human territory. Ambassador Vexthor had been dispatched with one mission: retrieve the princess at any cost. The galaxy's most powerful empire would not simply let their heir vanish into the chaos of human space. The hunt had only just begun.